Holland, beautiful park, Centennial Park. What does this place mean to you? I know you have a wide district, but talk about Holland and why we're here.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Zeeland, ended up going to Holland Christian High School, and this is a special place. All of West Michigan, frankly, the entrepreneurialism, the vision, the future-looking, but rooted in tradition, and I think that see a lot of that right here in Holland. And Centennial Park's just a beautiful spot. And as I'm watching families walk through, tourists come through. Tulip time, it's a little nutty. Everybody avoids that this place when that's going on. But I think this is quintessential about what makes West Michigan special.
Yeah, it's funny how locals have a different take on tulip time sometimes, right? But yeah, beautiful city, and obviously today it's showing off with beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how you have brought that tradition to DC. I mean, you've held this seat for a while now.
Yeah.
Been reelected a number of times, but how you've brought your roots to DC.
Yeah, I think the specialness, like I was saying, of this place is it's entrepreneurial and it is outward looking, but not insulated, but yet it doesn't walk away from its roots and who it is, in its soul. And I try to do that, and whether it's thinking innovatively in my committee work, thinking innovatively with issues back here in the district. I think we need to just face the realities of where the world is going with AI and crypto and things, things like that. So you can't just cut yourself off and be isolated that way. But what do you root that in, right? And for me, I think between my faith and my background and being a small business person and those kinds of things, that it's given me this really amazing opportunity to have one foot firmly planted in the public policy world, another foot firmly planted in the business world, and understanding how those two things mesh and integrate. And I think that's what a lot of West Michigan is about. If you look at it, and as I talk to entrepreneurs and business folks, small, medium, large businesses, here's what they usually say: just don't get in my way, right? Don't hurt what I'm trying to do. We'll be good. We can take care of this. But way too often, government is working against them and not for them. And I think that's a voice that I bring to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so you have an entrepreneurial background, you're a businessman. Talk a little bit about how you have helped small businesses, especially here in West Michigan, and yeah, some of your biggest wins that you feel like you've accomplished in your time in office.
Yeah. Well, certainly, how I split this up is you've got these big overarching issues that it doesn't matter what state you're from, what your district comprises of, rural, urban, suburban. These are things that are going to affect all of the country, and some of that is defense, for example. But I would also put in our debt situation and our spending in that category. And I've been working on a bipartisan basis to try to tackle that. We've got a group called the BFF, the Bipartisan Fiscal Forum, that I helped start and now chair it. And it's searching for bipartisan solutions to try to figure out, okay, what do we do with 36 or nearly $36 trillion in debt? And what is that going to do to our choices in the other areas? Because we know interest on the debt is outstripping the Defense Department budget this year for the first time ever. It's going to quickly outpace all of our domestic spending. And the problem is we are now having to make decisions that pull programs back out of whether it's defense or domestic spending to then pay for that interest, or we have to borrow more to pay the interest on what we've already borrowed, which makes no sense at all. So, some of these big overarching issues you have to tackle, and I've been very involved in those. The second category is, what's your committee work? What are you asked to do on behalf of your colleagues? And this is sort of the Schoolhouse Rocks part of this, right? You can't deal with every issue at a micro level, which is why they divide this up into the various committees. I happen to be on a very powerful committee called the Financial Services Committee, And people say, oh, well, what does that have to do with our lives? Well, if you have a mortgage, a car payment, a credit card, insurance, you're affected by this. Certainly if you're a small business owner and are looking for a small business loan, you're affected by this. So I've gone in and advocated for what I believe is reasonable regulation. We have to protect consumers, but we also have to make sure that what has made our economic system the envy of the world, that we keep that uniqueness. Because, look, vast amounts of dollars flow into the United States from around the world, and there's a reason, because we are the preeminent place to invest. And I want to maintain that. And I think this administration, frankly, has put a lot of that under assault. They've tried to make us more like Europe. Well, and meanwhile, European investors are trying to move their money over to the U.S. And so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So we're going to keep trying to advocate for those types of things, and whether it's sanctions work that I've been heavily involved in, whether it's the Securities and Exchange Commission. Those are all things that have had a lot of attention. The third category, and frankly this is equally, if not more important than any of those others, is what are those local issues? For us here along on the west side of the state, Lake Michigan, the Great Lakes system has been a huge part of what I've worked on. I've been the co-chair of the Great Lakes Task Force for a number of Congresses now, working with PFAS. I was on the PFAS work group, but whether it's PFAS or invasive species, making sure that we've got clean air, clean water. And those things, by the way, can coincide with a successful economy. Some people want to do just the ecological part. Some people only want to do the economic part. And it's like, no, we can protect both the economy and the ecology of the Great Lakes. And frankly, not many of my colleagues from around the country really understand what the Great Lakes means and how important it is, whether it's the shipping that comes along and helps manufacturers. We've got a lot of the heavy manufacturing material that gets moved around the Great Lakes, agricultural products that get moved along on the Great Lakes. This is a unique area. Not many places can be both a tourist destination, a manufacturing center, and an agricultural producing district. So, I do a lot of focus with that and trying to make sure that those regulations are reasonable and affordable for our farmers and our manufacturers.
You covered a wide range of topics.
Yeah, I did.
Great.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I want to touch on PFAS and the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of divisiveness right now, and that from talking to different candidates on both sides of the aisle ahead of this primary, the Great Lakes and PFAS, it seems to be a collective thought process of, what can we do to continue supporting our lakes and continue to dealing with the PFAS issue. Where else do you feel like you've reached across the aisle and been able to meet common ground with your Democratic colleagues?
Yeah, that's fair. And I would first and foremost point to that Great Lakes Task Force. It's been phenomenal. It's Debbie Dingell and myself from Michigan, Marcy Kaptur, Democrat from Ohio, and David Joyce from Ohio. We're the four co-chairs. And I think that has been, frankly, a model of how it should be done. That's gone into the PFAS and some of the more specific things as well. The BFF, this Bipartisan Fiscal Forum, has been, I think, a significant voice showing that people can come together and work on those bigger macro issues. Here in Michigan, we work pretty well together on agricultural issues and labor issues. That has been a sticking point for not just for manufacturers here in Michigan and agricultural needs that we have. It's also been for the service industry. And so earlier this year we led a joint letter on some proposed fees that the Biden administration had, and we had literally had everyone in the delegation except for Sri Thanadar. I don't know why he didn't sign on, but he literally was the only one who did not sign this bipartisan letter asking the Biden administration to reconsider some of their fee hikes that they were imposing, because it was going to negatively impact our labor force here in Michigan, and so put us at a disadvantage. Certainly autos. Now we have some pretty big disagreements about EV and the emphasis, and the mandates that are coming down from the federal government. But we all have a very particular eye towards the automotive industry. You can't help that because this area where we're at now, we don't have cars roll off the finish line or off the assembly line, but all those components that are in the cars that roll off the assembly line all come from here. And that's an extremely important thing. So all of us in the Michigan delegation, no matter which of the districts and whether you've got a particular plant in it or not. I mean, Jack Bergman's got mining up in the UP that goes into the products that go into those cars in Detroit. We've got those suppliers, whether it's a Gentex and a Donnelly here with mirrors and interiors, and it's all integrated and very, very important. So I think you see much more bipartisan work on those kinds of things than probably, frankly, most people would assume, and what I think gets out into sort of the general public.
Compared to a lot of the people we're talking with, a lot of the people running in the different districts in our area, you're seasoned and you've seen a lot. I mean, a lot has changed since you first took office. You were talking about AI.
Yeah.
That was not something we were even talking about 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
How have the needs of your district changed? And looking forward, what do you feel like some of the biggest needs and the biggest issues that if you were reelected you would be needing to tackle?
Yeah, well, first of all, redistricting completely changed the focus of all of our districts in many ways. So that's definitely a big shift. Now the interesting thing is the people are different, but a lot of the issues are the same. I still deal with a tremendous number of specialty crop agricultural issues. I've had to learn a lot more about grapes down in Berrien County and Van Buren and those kinds of areas, but we still have blueberries, we still have asparagus, we still have apples and cherries and those kinds of things. So, it feels like, and manufacturing principles are the same. I've had to learn more about things like with companies like Stryker and that kind of thing, more precise manufacturing versus automotive manufacturing. So again, I think the broad themes are very similar. It's still a mix of urban, rural, and suburbanized counties, and we've got a real mix that not everybody has. So for me, I think it's been more of a how do we get to know the people, and people do think a little differently in Kalamazoo versus Ludington, right? They do think a little differently in Battle Creek than in Grand Rapids or in Granville. So having to sort of adjust and make sure that we're talking to people. Not that I'm giving up any of my principles or my beliefs at all, but you having a conversation with someone who may disagree with you, you can do that and be productive and be respectful. So it doesn't mean it has to be blowtorches at going at each other all the time, which I think we see a lot of, certainly on talk radio and cable television and all that. But that's not where I don't think where most people are. They want to know what you stand for, why you stand for it, and whether you're open to their opinion.
Speaking to that divisiveness that we're seeing a little bit on not even both sides of the aisle, but within own parties.
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about the state of the Democratic Party, where things stand following the debate, who's going to be the candidate. Talk to me about the state of the Republican Party, because there's also some issues going on, and there's some wide range of ideologies and feelings on where things should go. Just talk about that.
Yeah. Quite honestly, I didn't think that anyone could make the Michigan Republican Party over the last 2 years look more dysfunctional until the Democrats showed up with Joe Biden and what's been going on post the debate. And here's what I mean by that. We unfortunately had a bad leader of the state party. She's not a bad person. She just was not a focused leader with the party. And she allowed a lot of that division to sort of build up. And I think we're in much better footing right now with my former boss and predecessor, Peter Hoekstra, at the helm. But the focus has got to be how do we come together And there's been so much focus on the circular firing squad mentality that we've got 100 issues and I agree with you on 98 of them, but I'm mad about those two, so now I'm going to oppose you or try to take you out or try to take your people out, and that doesn't make sense. We have to sometimes remind people within my own party that we're wearing the same color jersey at the end of the day. Our political opponents are who we ought to be fighting. But not everybody is willing to go along with that, and they've got that right to do that. I think it's incumbent on all of us, but especially those who don't win and who lose in the primaries, to come together and make sure that we're going to have a successful November. I think it's too critical for the country. And frankly, you look at where Michigan's standing is. Obviously, the presidential, and by the way, I love the fact that the Biden administration and Biden campaign is talking about the blue wall of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. That was the same blue wall, by the way, that Hillary Clinton choked over and fell short on in 2016. So bring it on. Love to have that debate. But the other thing is we have got a very competitive Senate race, right? The Senate hangs in the balance. We've got 2 open seats here in Michigan because of that Senate seat and a retirement. So we're Michigan, and then a very contested one right here in West Michigan, where we're seeing my Democrat colleague flip-flopping on whether she supports Biden or not. Has now called for him to get out of the race. It's like, well, let's pick one. By the way, I'm glad we can finally agree on something. Joe Biden shouldn't be president. But there's a lot at stake here, and if Michigan is going to maintain its preeminence in manufacturing and in agriculture and those kinds of things, we've got to have a strong showing here in November, and that's going to take everybody coming together. Both sides, both sides of the aisle are going to have some challenges working through that. But I think whoever can do that best, rally their supporters the best, probably ends up winning Michigan.
Do you feel like former President Trump, in terms of the Republican Party, has united the party or created more divisiveness?
I think in 2016 there was far more divisiveness. I think people watching what his 4 years of being president looked like and what happened with the economy and how he was really, frankly, reestablishing ourselves on the international front. Nobody thought he was going to be able to renegotiate NAFTA. What happened? He renegotiated NAFTA. So there were some real amazing policy wins. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that went in place. So I think for a lot of Republicans now that I talk to who may have been hesitant in 2016 or even in 2020, they now have the counterfactual, which is Joe Biden's last 4 years, and they're looking around going, you know what, I'm going to put up with a mean tweet here or there. I'm willing to put up with the scrutiny because we see the long-term benefit. The other thing that I hear from people, and I'm talking union households, I'm talking people who are maybe the non-traditional Republicans, they're looking around and they really do feel like some curtains have been peeled back. The Russia hoax for the first impeachment and what that meant, what the FBI has been doing, what the IRS was doing, and they kind of looked around and said, I never imagined that this would be happening in our country and with our political process, but it did. And so I think they're much more open to Donald Trump now, and frankly, we have evidence. We have 4 years of Trump and 4 years of Biden. And interestingly enough, for the first time maybe ever, we are going to be electing a president if Joe Biden remains as the candidate, which I think he probably does. We've got a situation where we could have a second-term lame duck president going into the White House. That's highly unusual in and of itself.
Do you feel like with his convictions and whatnot, obviously right now people are in the Democratic Party are wondering, was Biden, should he be still running? Do you feel like Trump was the best Republican candidate to run this year?
I think he was, quite honestly. He deserved that opportunity to go back and try to win. As far as the convictions, I think the Wall Street Journal put it best. They called it a turducken. You know, you had to take a violation and put it inside another law to then try to find this path towards a conviction. And most people just look at that and go, "Yeah, I'm not buying it." You know, this would not be a crime that anyone else other than Donald Trump would have been brought up under, in my opinion.
So switching gears to your Republican opponent.
Yeah.
We spoke. Actually, we walked through this park with him. You know, talking about
interesting. Okay.
You know, at his headquarters, not too far from here. But
actually, I believe it's the county headquarters.
Or county headquarters.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So speaking of the county, he's got Ottawa County GOP backing.
Yep.
Ottawa Impact. Just speak to him and what you know about him and your thoughts on your opponent coming to the primary.
Yeah. Actually, I know very little about him. I've met him a couple of times. He's new to the area. Not that that's a bad thing, but here's what happened. When he and others took over not just the state party, but the local county party, they literally had a hit list of anybody that was tied to or associated and affiliated with me. They dismissed them out of the party, the executive committee, including my own brother. Which was kind of interesting. They then came back a couple of months later asking me to buy tables at their event. And it's like, well, that's not how this works, actually. You know, I've had my allies involved in the local party to make sure that my dollars and my resources and my time and energy, as well as everybody else's, is focused on beating Democrats. And I think it's to call it unusual is generous to have a county organization, much less a county chair, go after a sitting elected official, Republican official. That's not typically what should be done. It's not what should be done. I think it's divisive in and of itself. And frankly, Ottawa County is half represented by me and half represented by Hillary Skolton. And I find it interesting that the county party organization is deciding that they want to focus on me rather than on our Democrat opponent who represents the other half of the county. That's just short-sighted.
He did say, one of the things he told us is, he says, you know, comparative to you, and this was his words, you know, he's willing to say no. He pointed to your voting for the reauthorization of the Patriot Act. He says he stands up for the Constitution. What do you say in response to that?
Well, he's got to get a couple of facts right. It was FISA was, at least in the material that I've seen, is what he was referring to, not the Patriot Act reauthorization. But I have plenty of opportunities where I've said no, plenty. If you look at my record, you can use any of the various groups, outside groups that measure that. It's me and Tim Walberg as the number one, number two most conservative members in the Michigan delegation. My district, this district, is an R+5, which means that it is, other than John James' district, the one that he represents over in Southeast Michigan, it's the most tight politically of any of the districts, of the Republican districts, yet I'm the most conservative member of the delegation. And it's because, again, I know what I believe, why I believe it. I believe I articulate that and have the conversation with people who still even disagree with me, and that's okay. But I think some people are looking for someone who's going to scream on the street corner. I've literally been told that. You know, you just got to get more angry. You just got to get louder. And I've tried to point out to them, it's like, my experience has been that if you're trying to change somebody's mind, you're better to take the journey with them and walk alongside of them, and then show them and demonstrate a better path rather than just screaming at them, because guess what? That doesn't work.
Abortion has taken a stronghold.
Sorry,
abortion has taken a stronghold on this election. What are your just official stances? A lot of people want the details, and they want to know, okay, if I'm voting for you, where would you stand?
Yeah.
You know, and if it came from you and you had the decision, you could write up a policy or whatnot. What would your official stance be?
Yeah, well, I don't know how much tape you have left. I mean, look, it's a very complicated issue. I'm plain and simple, I'm pro-life. I've been endorsed by Michigan Right to Life, the Susan B. Anthony organization, other pro-life organizations, because it's something that my wife and I, it's in our hearts. We had a challenge getting pregnant We are now blessed with 5 children, but we had a challenge like a lot of families. And we explored everything, including IVF and adoption and other opportunities that so many of us have to look at. And we were blessed by having our own kids. But I had a college roommate who was adopted. I've got cousins who adopted children. And to me, as I look at the opportunities that are out there and so many families that are looking for those families and homes to come together with these children that need opportunity and a loving home, why aren't we pushing that? Now, having said all that, Michigan has settled with Prop 3 sort of where Michigan is. I disagreed with it. I was vocal about it. But Prop 3 is now in the state constitution. It's interesting to me that Democrats are trying to continue to revive this issue and again and again and again because it's worked. It's worked in past elections. It worked in 2022, I would argue, for sure. They had their win here in Michigan, but they're still sort of grasping at the issue, I think, trying to score more political points rather than policy points.
Just for the sake of time, I'm not going to try to ask you too many more questions, but you talked a little bit about redistricting. Yeah. There are new people in your district, new people to Michigan, maybe just people that are new to the political arena. They may not know you, even though you've been in office.
I find that.
A quick pitch to people that aren't familiar with who you are, what you stand for, and why they should come out to the polls and show up not only for the primary, but also vote for you.
Well, it's certainly fair to say with redistricting, we picked up a lot of new area, two new media markets, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, and South Bend, Indiana. I actually had a friend of mine, she's a pastor down in Indiana, and she called me up one day and she goes, "Why am I hearing a radio ad for you in Indiana?" Well, it's because so much of that southwest Michigan corner of Michigan is really tied in. So we know that there's people who are still getting to know me, and we've been working very, very hard to get out there and let people know who I am. So I'm a small business owner, 3rd generation of a sand and gravel operation. I own it with my cousin. I've owned it for about 25 years at this point, and family is in ready-mix concrete and construction. Still do a little real estate developing as well. Just finished up a 24-unit condominium project as a family a couple of years ago, and that's helping cash flow college for my kids. But having again that foot firmly planted in the business world, where I have to look at my own P&L every month and figure out where are we going, where is the economy going, how do we make sure that this is healthy for everybody. That I think gives me an advantage as I'm going in then and dealing with the policy side of things. And I had this when I was in the state legislature as well. I did serve 6 years as a state representative for the southern Ottawa County area. Chaired the Commerce Committee. I spent 6 years on the Energy and Technology Committee there. The time in Washington has been primarily on the Financial Services Committee, but I also serve on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And it's interesting, when my kids were much younger, we always struggled, like if you asked them, well, what does your dad do? It's like, well, he talks on the phone and goes to something called meetings, whatever that would be, right? And so my wife came up with this descriptor. She said, it's daddy's job to learn everything he can about everything. And it really is kind of true, right? You have to know how power plants work, how asparagus grows, what's happening with nuclear proliferation in the Korean Peninsula, what's happening in the European bond market, what's happening in Africa, all of those things, China, Taiwan, right? And again, those are some of those things that, regardless of what state or district you're from, you have to have a working knowledge of all of those issues. And I think my time as a congressional staffer, my time in the state legislature, and now my time in the U.S. House has really prepared me for that, for a very challenging time. I mean, the world is a dangerous, changing place. And you and I talked about AI a little bit earlier. What does that look like, not just in business, but in defense? What does that look like for us in our daily lives? You look at an even growing aggressive China. You look at what Iran has been up to, what Hamas in the Middle East and what's been going on there. You look at Russia. We're in a dangerous neighborhood right now, and I would argue that we have weakened ourselves on the world stage with the Biden administration. And I truly, honestly believe that with Donald Trump back in the White House, we're going to see maybe not respect so much as fear. You want fear and respect to happen from your adversaries, and we need that balance, and I think he does provide that balance.
All right, cool. Awesome. I think we're good in this portion.
Why still do this after all these years? Why still stay involved?
No, that's a great question. There's unfinished business. And I want to go back. I believe that there will be a change at the White House. I know what happened in the first 2 years of the Trump administration when we had a unified House, Senate, and White House. We were able to move quickly, but I don't think this time we're going to get bogged down by, Russian hoaxes and a bunch of other things that may have hampered that on the front end. So we've got some major issues that are coming up. Tax policy that is expiring from the last rewrite. Certainly changes that are happening in the financial institutions. We talked about AI, we talked about crypto, we talked about a number of those kinds of things that I think I'm well positioned. I've got a knowledge base and an experience that leads me to be the right person to go and represent 775,000 people, and I try to do that as fairly as I possibly can. And it doesn't mean you're just sticking your finger up in the wind. You have to take a position, but you have to communicate with people and make sure that they understand that you are listening to them, value their opinion. We just may disagree on that, and most people, again, are usually okay with that. They may not like your vote or they may not like your outcome, the outcome of what's going on, but they can at least respect that if you're going to listen to them.